the money thing, yeah, let's be honest, real talk, guys. It's hard to pay for stuff. And one of those things is often school, okay? But that's why the helpers are important, right? People like Southern New Hampshire University, who help support programs at the USO that make paying for college just a little bit easier. And so we're good to hear today from Dr. Will Zemp, who's going to tell us about some of the things they do with the USO.
Good afternoon. Okay, so I'm on. This is on. We're on. Slides are up. They made me make slides. It's not my fault. So if I pause for a moment, Randy and Amy have a special button. I have a traumatic brain injury from one of my adventures, and sometimes the record skips a little bit. So if I pause, that's fine. Just throw something at me. That's what my kids do. But what I didn't want to miss the chance to be the person to come and help and say thank you, especially to this group with my background. So with that, I want to thank USO, I want to thank Politico, not only for the support of the event, but for their leadership in highlighting this group's courage and the challenges that families go through with their service, and now 17 years into war. It's a privilege and an honor to be here today, but in truth, it's really scary. Anybody that's been a commander, been associated with commanding troops knows that probably one of the hardest things to do is go to a family support group, because that's a very confident, determined group of spouses, women that can hold you accountable. So there's a great deal of respect for being up here right now. So thank you. All right, let's see. Okay. So what I was asked for about 10 minutes today to participate, say thank you. I want to introduce Southern New Hampshire University and the work that we do in our students, military spouses that we participate with. I also want to take a moment to take some of the data that we have and the experience and make clear the challenges that are ahead of military spouses as they try to pursue education to really find purposeful work. That's the link there. I love this picture. This is Bridget. She works with me. She is a military spouse. Her husband got out. They were in the Coast Guard for some time. Very strong, resilient professional. And this picture kind of sums up Southern New Hampshire University's commitment. This is a soldier who could not be at commencement, and so she very quickly put on the garb and then walked him through up on the stage. And the reason that the soldiers or the service member's spouse couldn't do it is because she was there in front. And so they participate together, and we'll introduce her in a moment. But this one picture, I mean, just love it, because it kind of brings out what we do and where we are. So my shameless but mandatory plug, why should you listen to me for 10 minutes? It's about 25 years. We had the privilege of serving soldiers. And while the years of combat are up there, they don't take into account training missions and then, everything that happened in the 90s before that. So Haiti, Bosnia, 2 Bosnia tours. And I don't do this to beat my chest, but this is kind of typical, right, of especially people who have been in the military for more than 15 years. More than half of the 40 service members that were killed in action, either when I was a leader or a commander, they were military spouses that I had to give the news to that their loved one wasn't there. And so there's a deep admiration for what you do and the courage that you provide people. On a personal note, turns out me being gone was for the best. My children have actually turned out to be responsible young citizens. And they, right? And they were raised almost solely by a military spouse, because you can put the numbers like that up there and then not have an appreciation. My service time came to an end when a military spouse and a group of doctors came in, and the quote there was, "Slow and curious was not a way to go through a combat zone." And so third time I was wounded, went through some trials and had to get out. And it was also a military spouse, former military spouse, that called me this morning to wish me luck, to remind me not to embarrass the family name. You do this. And then to remember that people really didn't come to listen to me after lunch, especially if you're before the vice president's wife, so get up and get the hell out of the way. But again, I don't want to miss the platform to say thank you. And this work is important, and we'll kind of go through that. So I love where I work. This is not the shameless plug. I wouldn't work there if it wasn't that. What I do want to do, instead of doing a commercial for us, is what I hope to do is set a blueprint or a pathway of what you need to look for if you're looking to choose a partner. One of the great things about us, about our military recruitment advisors, to be the first person to tell you we're not the right person for you, right? We're not the right partner for you. They'll actually help you find where to go. If you give us a chance, I think you'll find okay. But you need to look for a place that kind of puts its money where its mouth is. Its work represents its values. And that's what we have up here. We have about 250 dedicated people from the time you go through recruitment, through advising, all the way to completion and financial aid that are dedicated towards either military or veteran. That's a lot. You don't find that normally. Usually you get an intake and then you kind of get thrown in with the rest of the gene pool. We have about 3,000 military spouses that are in the program at any time. We'll kind of go over those numbers on a national level and what that means. And then in total, anywhere between 19 to 23, someone receiving tuition assistance, GI Bill, something like that. So who are we? Small school started in about 1932. This is a picture of our campus, beautiful campus, about anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 if you take into account graduate students in New Hampshire. And then we have about 135,000 learners nationally. Those are clustered either in or around military bases, employer, and that is our online and project-based learning. So we have a support network that can kind of follow you through not only the challenges you face with moving, but also the changes in the employer base. Because what we found is, especially with this demographic, as people enter college, the job they're going to go to probably hasn't been invented yet. So it's about 85% of the jobs that entry-level people will go into. And then we found that for graduate level as well. So we try to remain relative with our programs. Kind of humble beginnings, 1932, this is pre-war. Helping people kind of get their heads around and get into the workforce. I've always had specialized demographics. That's what you need to look for, is people that have a proven track record in this. Military-wise, came in 1941, then followed up by GI Bill. You want people that know what they're doing. The GI Bill it's a benefit that's earned, right? It's not like this gift, but it's an earned benefit, and it's a sacred resource. So you need a partner that's going to help you maximize that resource for your needs, and then the need of some employer out there, right? And then you want a proven track record from 1941 and then 1995, and that's kind of where we took off the charts. A lot of you may know us by the bus commercial. My mother thinks I live on the bus. I don't, but that's the way it goes. But with a national footprint and then meeting the modalities. So story after story is, hey, I'm almost done, but I have to move, and my kids, getting them settled someplace is my priority. And the answer can either be, well, you're going to be 2 semesters behind, or hey, why don't we pause you and put you in the next term, and we'll just kind of slow things down for you, right? So again, proven track record. So this brings us to the challenges. And again, this is kind of hard-fought data that we have, and I'll kind of put these up there and let them sit for a second. The unemployment rate in many regions is 0%. So you got a global labor shortage right now that's caused some problems. There's a war for talent. Military unemployment, 23%. It's crazy. Here you have this driven, has resources to go to school, and we'll kind of go through the numbers later. Very smart, has already participated in college, but yet because of some of these circumstances and challenges, isn't tapped into. And so again, a lot of leadership, both from political and USO, to highlight this. And we know other partners stand ready to kind of help this problem. 43% want to take advantage of that. When surveyed and polled, and I'm on a board for Armed Services YMCA, so we spend a lot of time on bases, looking especially for what happens with childcare. There's a direct correlation between childcare being provided and food banks and whether or not a military spouse can participate in education. That's crazy. And so you see the stabilization of education benefits, but then they're cutting both food bank programs and childcare on bases. It's nuts. And what happens is that guarantees that people can't pursue their education aspirations. All right, so these numbers mean something. The last one there is state-to-state standardization, and that has to be fixed. The number of military spouses, especially entry-level young professional women that have either a lawyer's degree, a certification in engineer, a teaching degree, and then because they switch states, because they have to, they can't get a job. It's bananas. So again, you have multiple slots open, multiple seats open in the school, but because of some archaic law that's in there, it probably dates back in the 1950s for teacher certification especially, there can't be a waiver of some sort like that. So these are things that we have to join together and we have to try and fix for certification, because all these go into pathways. So these are our students, and it looks like the coloring's off a little bit. This is the wife of the service member that was with us. These are typical. What I want to do is the personas that you're reading in this report that was produced are good. They're very science-based. There's something to look at. I just want to fill in the blanks with some numbers. And again, I'm looking here because I had them updated because I wanted to be straight, because I think my mother's watching. I can't be wrong. But so there's 641,339 military spouses. Let that sink in. That's bigger than some small countries' militaries combined. 13% of those are already in the military as well, so they're joint. 92% of those are women. So another profile, this is Melissa. Go back to talking about all military spouses. The average age is 31. 41% have children. 70% of those children are under the age of 11. So again, very driven, kind of a younger based, very what talent acquisition people would look for as pre-professional or professional entry, but very tired, right? I mean, those numbers equate to something. And again, with the profile. So 88% of military spouses has some sort of college credit. And so you can take that number and equate it to a dollar sign, or there's some kind of predatory practice I'm sure you can throw at it. What we try to do is say, what does that mean? That means at some point, sometime, somebody pursued college because they had a dream to do something different or to be something different. Now, for all the right reasons, maybe they've chosen. I mean, who are we to get in the way of love? That's usually how these things happen. But there's something there. There's some kind of untapped potential. We call it unlocking opportunity and talent. 34%, so that's 218,000 plus, have bachelor's degrees. 23% unemployment, and 200,000 have bachelor's degrees. It's crazy, these numbers. So, and then 15% have a graduate degree or more advanced degree. That means there's an intelligent, driven, very capable talent pool that can answer the global labor shortage problems around some of these bases. Because the unemployment on base and the number of open billets is there, and we know it. So what I want to do now is kind of get out of the way, because I've talked too much. Amy's given me the hook, and what we've done is I want to let our people say thank you in their own way.
Dear fellow milspouse, do you know how amazing you are?
I wanted to start this letter by saying thank you for everything you do each and every day.
When I became an employee at SNHU, I went from appreciating the support we provide to the military community to being in awe of it, just as I am in awe of you.
As a military career advisor, I feel honored that I get to help military spouses find new careers, identify their strengths, and discuss shared experiences.
Home is a place where you surround yourself with the people who care, people who put you first every time, and people who believe in you. To the community of active duty spouses who make up a large portion of our student body, we've built you a home.
I know the struggle. I can relate, because I too am a military spouse. You deserve an education to take your personal and professional goals to the next level. To all our military spouses, we are here for you, and we thank you for your sacrifice.
You are the caregiver, the planner, the chauffeur, and the heart. Thank you.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
We are Southern New Hampshire University. Welcome home.
All right. Okay. That gets you in the fields, doesn't it? It's pretty good. So, again, thank you. Thank you for what you do. You define courage for service members, and you need to be told that daily. So thank you, and again, thank you to USO and Politico for the opportunity to be here. Appreciate it.